Hello again. Today we're going to get back to the series about training for a short bikepacking race of up to a week. So that might work for, well, Transpyrenees is what we're going to use as the example. And that's what we've got a plan for. I'm going to show it with a spreadsheet again, so you can look at that and screenshot it, and you can use that for your own training if you want. So what we're doing this week is moving towards a more polarized approach. I don't know if you've read about polarized training or seen any videos. Stephen Seiler was really the one that coined the phrase, or at least he's popularized it. We're going to be looking at higher intensity work, but increasing the volume and doing the higher volume of low intensity work. So this block of training is about 6 weeks, and it'll include some long weekends, a couple of long weekends in the next 6 weeks, and then also a test event a couple of weeks after that. That'll be in the next block, but that's basically what we're preparing for, getting everything practiced and make sure you can do everything, and then you can test it, test your fitness and learn from that. And training's all about doing some training, testing it, see where you need to improve, changing your training a little bit, testing it, seeing where you need to improve, and you're just building in small steps to get to these big, actually pretty big goals if you're talking about a bikepacking race. And your tests would be how well you perform in your long rides, because that's the most specific thing that you're training for. And maybe look at your average speed, see whether you're getting faster. The speed's not a great metric to use in bikepacking. Power is much better, so if you can afford a power meter, I would use that. But also bear in mind that over a long ride or a long event, your F2P at the start is going to be different to your threshold, your FTP at the end. So as you can see, I've got it on the screen here in the spreadsheet form, and we're a little bit behind schedule. I've highlighted last week, which was the end of the last block, an easy week, and that puts you into a block of 8 weeks, actually, like I'd said 6 weeks. And with 2 heavy weeks followed by a medium week where you do a long weekend, you need a week to recover from that 3 hard days. So it's not really 3 hard days, but you're creating some fatigue by doing a longish ride on Friday. You can ride as long as you want. Similarly, Saturday and Sunday you can ride for as long as you want. I realise that this week, the 21st of February week, the end of February, could be quite bad weather, so you'd have to make your own decision as to whether you think it's a good weekend to do or push it a little bit later. I mean, you could always add an extra week of the same training here, have an easy week, and then you'd be into March, which may be a little bit better, but there's no guarantees that early March is going to be better than the end of February. We've increased the intensity with the threshold sessions, 3 by 8 minutes. So a 3 by 8 minute session might have 2 or 3 minutes recovery between the 8 minute effort. You should just do them as hard as you can. You're aiming to do the 8 minutes at the same intensity for all 3 efforts. And then after the first block, then you have another block where you do 4 by 8 minutes. But if you stay at 3 by 8 minutes, that's fine. If you do 3 good 8 minute efforts, you'll be building fitness. You're trying to stress your body, make it uncomfortable so that it adapts and recovers to be a little bit fitter and a little bit stronger next time. And it takes different people, different periods of time to adapt. And just because you might adapt slower than somebody else doesn't mean that you won't perform better than them. I think back to my racing days when I used to run, I often used to get, people used to kick my ass in training, but I could beat them in races. And that certainly, as I got older, that was more and more the case, perhaps just because I knew my body and I knew how to work, and I wasn't trying to prove things during the training sessions and kill myself. I wasn't egotistical about training. I knew that I had limits. But in the races, I could beat people that would be, apparently better than me in training. Anyway, so just work with yourself, that's all I'm trying to say with this. And between the blocks of training, there's an easier week. And you need the easier weeks. So and then you've got another easier week before your test event. And in the next video, or at least one that's coming up quite soon, I'm going to talk about polarized training and why I think polarized training is very effective for endurance events and ultra endurance events. It's essentially because it allows you to do a lot of easy miles, but also do intensity work that will raise your FTP very efficiently but it can be done in a very short time frame. So it's a very efficient way to train and still leave yourself the capacity to do the ultra endurance or the long endurance rides. Anyway, I hope you find this useful. Please let me know in the comments, let me have any questions, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.